Hey guys, it's June, which means May and the books I read during May are officially over. So let's talk about them. I just got out of the shower, so my hair is wet and our hair dryer is broken. So I'm gonna say it like this. So the first book I read in May was Every Hour Until Then, and this is the fifth book in the Timeless series, and this one was so good. It was like a murder mystery, and I never guessed what would happen. The end was a big surprise to me. I love all of these books in this series, but this one is probably my favorite, honestly. It was so good. Definitely a 5-star. Next thing I read in May was The Restitching of Camille Dulaine by Lindsay A. Franklin, and this was the second book in a duology, and it really like wrapped things up, and there was still a mystery in it, and I loved it so much. It's a fantasy, and it's about this girl who gets sent to this other world where stories are kept in spheres. And in the last book, they accidentally got merged. So now all the characters from all the books in the world are all in one big story and they have to fix it. And this book was so good. It was also a 5-star. The third book I read in May was Through Each Tomorrow by Gabrielle Meyer. And this is the 6th book in the Timeless series. It started off really slow and it took me a while to get into it. But once it picked up, I was like, what the heck? And then there was like this twist in the middle that I did not expect, and I was even looking for one because I had other people read it before me and told me it was the best one. I just like the 5th one better, but I was like, whoa, that's so cool how it like tied in. And that one was a 5-star as well. Next book I read in May was Fridays with the Wizards by Jessica Day George. This is the 4th book in the Tuesdays at the Castle series, or Castle Glower, whichever one it is. I don't even know what the series is called. I see it both ways. This was a 4-star. It's a middle grade fantasy, but I really love how the author writes. And this book I read really fast. I started it last year and then I paused because I've been reading so much middle grade fantasy. But then I picked it up this month and finished it in a day, and I'm really glad I finished it because I loved it so much. There's one left in the series and I'm excited to read that. Next we have The Star Blessed by Angie Dickinson, and I read her other book, The Truth Cursed, and I loved it so much. So when she came out with this book, I instantly requested for our library to get it, and they got it pretty much instantly, and I was like, yes, because I've never gotten anything I requested before, but now they did, and I was so excited. This book was really interesting to me. It was a retelling of Rumpelstiltskin and Catskin, and I don't really know the story of Catskin, and that was like the main story that it was about, but I still really enjoyed it. And it's about this girl who is kept in hiding. She's a princess. She's kept in hiding by the king until one day he decides that he needs her. So he brings her out in public, to the public, and she does not want to be there. So she runs away, and and her guard is looking for her. I loved this book. It's a 5-star for sure, and I hope this author comes out with more things because at the moment she only has the 2. Next we have another fairy tale retelling, and that is Heir of Roses by Victoria McCombs. Victoria McCombs has to be like the best author ever, or at least my favorite author. This is the 4th book in the, Storyteller series. There's 2 separate duologies within the series, but they connect, and this one is the Winter Charlatan duology, and this is the last one, the 2nd one, or the 4th one, whichever way you look at it. And it is a Snow White and Princess and the Pea retelling, and it reminded me quite a bit of like Princess Academy, and they had these trials they had to go through to see who was going to be the next queen, and Rowan, the main character, was in that. This book was a 5-star like every other Victoria McCombs book I've read, and I loved it so much. It was a great conclusion to the series. Next, I read The Traitor's Game by Jennifer A. Nielsen. I love Jennifer Nielsen, as you can tell. That's all her stuff right there. It's like most of her books. But this one was a fantasy. Most of her stuff is historical fiction, but this one was a fantasy, or just, yeah, it was a fantasy. And it was really good. So there's this princess, and she's lived in the lava field since she was 13, and she's now almost 17. And her father, the king, calls her back into the country. But they're well, he's not the king. Well, he is the king, but it's like a separate part inside of the big kingdom. And the person who owns who's in charge of like everything, he's bad. And so she has to defeat him, and the only way she can is if she finds the Olden Blade. So she is attacked on her way back to the palace, and these people tell her, you have to find the Olden Blade and kill the ruler, because otherwise the world is just gonna fall apart. So she has to do that, and there's 3 of these, and it was so good. It was a 5-star, and I loved it so much. Now we have Amari and the Metalwork Menace. I've been waiting to read this book forever, like since it came out earlier this year, and it I haven't been able to find it for free anywhere, and I don't have money to buy it because I had just spent my money on other books. But I finally found the audiobook of it for free, and so I listened to it the other day, and it was so good. It was probably my favorite in the series so far. There's 4 of them at the moment, and there is definitely going to be a 5th one because it ended in cliffhanger, and I was like, what? But this is a middle grade fantasy, and it's about Amari. I think she's 12 in the first book. I think she's 14 in this one. And she figures out that she's a wizard, and she has to go to the Bureau of Supernatural Investigations. And this one was just another like mystery. Each one has been like a different mystery that she has to solve. And this one was my favorite. It was a 5-star. Next we have The Unselected Journals of Emma M. Lyon, Volume 8. And this was probably one of my favorite ones. It was really funny. Emma, Islington, Pierce, and Hawks, also Islington's sisters, which we've never met before in the series, went to Stonecrop, I think it was, Islington's like country house, and I liked it a lot. I really loved this one. It was cool, and I need this 9th one. It hasn't come out yet, and there's no release date. It should be out this year though, she says. And I'm so excited to read that one. I really want it to be out. That was also a 5-star. Next is Salt of the Sea by Ruta Sepetys, I think is how you say it, but it's probably not. I read one other book by her, and it was The Fountains of Silence, and I loved that book. It was so good, and so I was really excited when my mom said I could read this one. And I flew through it. I listened to it. It only took me a day. I listened to it in like one day. And it was a World War II book, but from like a point of view I've never really read about before. And it was from the point of view of 6 different people, and they all connected at one point, and it was really, really cool. I loved it so much. It was a 5-star. Probably my favorite read of the year so far, actually. Next we have Magnitude by Jennifer A. Nielsen. This one was about the big earthquakes in California, and I forgot the year. But it's about the main character, Cora, is out and about when it happens, and she falls into the ground and has to find her way out. And then there's all the fires and explosions, and she's lost from her family. She has to try to find them. And this book was so good. Probably one of my favorite Jennifer Nielsen historical fiction. Definitely a 5-star. Next is Deceiver's Heart by Jennifer A. Nielsen. This is the 2nd book in the Trader's Game. And in this one, Kestra, the main character, has lost her memories. And I loved it so much because she had to like build back up as a character. And it was definitely a 5-star. This whole series was a 5-star, actually. I love Jennifer Nielsen. Last and least, definitely, is Curio by Evangeline Denmark. I was really excited for this book because I heard great things about it. And I hated it. It was a 2-star. It was really boring and just really, really weird. It was really good at the beginning. It started off and it was like a dystopian kind of type thing, and there's the chemists that like control the world or wherever she lives. I think she lives in, I want to say Colorado, and they control that area, and if you're out past curfew, you get like whipped. But if you're under 18, you don't. So her and her friend Wit are out and about, and they don't make it home quite in time, and they're both under 18, so they shouldn't have been punished, but Wit does, and more severely than most people ever do, even as adults. And she tries to save him, and her dad and her grandpa try to save him, but her grandpa turns to stone, which I thought was kind of weird. But right before that, he shoves her into this cabinet, and it like transports her to another world where all the people are porcelain dolls. And that was really weird. And they think she's a porcelain doll, and they're asking if like she's injured when she gets there, and they're like, these are weird cracks. We need the glue man. I'm like, what? Okay. And he's like, he couldn't glue your cracks back together because they're not cracks. And it's just really weird. Like all the people, I don't know. And then she has to escape them because one of them ends up being bad, like the main one. And then she finds another human and tries to escape. They try to escape, and it just like ended abruptly. I did not like this book at all. It was like the worst book I've read this year. Maybe ever. I don't know. It's just like, yeah. That was not a good way to end May, but I still read 13 books, which is my second best month this year. So if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. And if you want to see the 12 books I read in April, watch this video.